What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I am going to discuss the three key matchups between the New York Giants and the Buffalo Bills as they get set to take on each other week 2 in just about 24 hours. And this is a must-win game for the New York Giants. They cannot start 0-2. And this video will discuss the three key matchups that could go a long way for both of these teams to come up with a victory tomorrow. The Bills obviously coming off an impressive win in which they came back from a 16-point deficit against the New York Jets. And when you think about the Buffalo Bills, their strength is definitely on the defensive end. They did make some offensive improvements, mainly on that offensive line. They got Josh Allen a couple of weapons, and we're going to discuss all that and what matchups are going to dictate who wins this game. The Giants, obviously, their defense looked abysmal against the Dallas Cowboys last week, and they're going to need to improve that. And I think they'll have an opportunity this week against, a suspect offense. They're a decent offense, but they're not near what the Dallas Cowboys are. So we're going to jump into the matchups, and we're going to see who needs to step up for both teams to come up with a victory. So our first matchup that I wanted to talk about was Kevin Zeitler versus Ed Oliver. Ed Oliver out of Houston was one of my favorite players in this year's draft. He fell to the Bills, a guy that I think has so much upside, and he had an unbelievable Week 1 performance against the New York Jets. A very athletic interior defensive lineman, could get after the quarterback, good at stuffing the run, and it is going to be a huge matchup in this game. Kevin Zeitler for the New York Giants. Zeitler versus Oliver. Zeitler, of course, was the newly acquired offensive lineman for the Giants, one of the best guards in football, and this is a matchup you want to keep an eye on. Zeitler played great last week against the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants' offensive line as a whole played great against the Dallas Cowboys, but this is an individual matchup that I really have circled for tomorrow's game, and will go a long way to who wins this game. If Zeitler could get a push, if he could limit Oliver from doing his job, getting after the quarterback, stuff in the run, that will go a long way towards the Giants' victory. So Zeitler versus Oliver, want to keep a big eye on that. Oliver, tremendously athletic for a big man. This will not be an easy test for Zeitler, but Zeitler is the veteran and one of the best offensive guards in football. So we'll see if he can hold his own against Oliver and that Buffalo Bills defensive front. The next matchup we're gonna talk on is going to be the New York Giants pass rush versus the Bills offensive line. Now, last year, both of these units were horrible for these two teams. The Bills completely revamped their offensive line. They drafted Cody Ford. They brought in Mitch Morse. They brought in a number of other free agents. They have a completely new offensive line. And yes, while they do have more talent, it is an inexperienced O-line in terms of playing together. And as I always say, you could have the best offensive linemen in the world. They need time to gel and learn to play with each other. So I still view this as a weakness for the Buffalo Bills. Not as weak as last year, but I think there are some holes, and I think the Giants can exploit it. Now, the Giants' biggest weakness is arguably their pass rush. Last week, they got no pass rush against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's admit this, though, if you're a Bills fan. That offensive line is battle-tested. One of the best, if not the best, offensive line in the sport. So I do think the Giants will have a better opportunity to get after the quarterback. And it's going to be guys like this, Lorenzo Carter's, Marcus Golden's, X-Man if he comes in. Those guys are going to have to come up with the pressure on the quarterback. And for the Bills, you're going to need your young and inexperienced offensive line to hold up and, protect for your quarterback in Josh Allen. Turnovers are going to be a huge key in this game. The Bills were able to overcome it last week, but most weeks you're not going to be able to overcome a 4-turnover performance. And if the Giants could force a couple of turnovers, it would go a long way into winning this football game. As a matter of fact, they're going to have to do that. And the pass rush will be the biggest contributing factor to if they could come up with some turnovers. So it's going to be that Bills O-line versus the Giants pass rushers. We'll see who comes up with the victory on Sunday. And then my last matchup I wanted to speak on, and this is going to be most games for the Giants, especially in this one. The Bills' defense is phenomenal against the pass. They have an average run defense. The New York Giants have the best running back in football. So this matchup is going to be the Bills' front seven versus Saquon Barkley. I fully expect the Bills to come full throttle and try to stuff that box, especially with the players the New York Giants are missing. Shepard is going to be out, right, with the concussion. Golden Tate suspended. They don't have many weapons on the outside. Ingram is their best weapon in the passing game, along with Saquon Barkley. The Giants could use Barkley in both the run and passing game. They're going to have to get creative, but they're going to need to win the time of possession to keep that defense fresh. And by doing that, Saquon Barkley is going to need 20-plus touches, and they're going to need to be efficient. It will be a tough test. Make no mistakes about it. But if anybody's up for it, it is Saquon Barkley. We'll have to see if Barkley and this Giants offense and Pat Shurmur, which is a huge key in this game, sticks to the game plan and the Giants stick to the run. I don't care if you're having a little trouble at first. You have to keep going because you're not going to win this game if you ask Eli Manning to throw the ball 40 times. It's just not going to happen. So Barkley versus that front seven. Who's going to get the win? We're going to have to wait and see. The magic number for me is 4.5 yards a carry. If Barkley gets 25 carries and can average over 4.5 yards a carry against this defense, we're sitting pretty and we have a very good chance to win that time of possession, which in turn would give us a very good chance to win this football game. But we're going to have to wait and see, guys, as we get set for the matchup on Sunday. But those are my three key matchups. I hope you guys come to the channel tomorrow, as Bad Dog Sports will be on, as we will be calling the Giants versus the Bills. Get your popcorn ready. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.